self-proud. I love that.
Well, I just
sticker.
like recycle everything. So
Oh,
I
that's
reuse
fine.
everything. So like, if a box that has been made for, or used for something, I'll like put a sticker or something
Yeah,
and get my kid to draw something on
absolutely.
it.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got here? Oh my god.
It's a mushroom lamp.
Oh my god.
Yay.
This is beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
I'm not even joking. I have been looking at so many like mushroom things, like mushroom earrings, mushroom decor. I was even thinking about adding mushrooms to my wedding decor because I just love mushrooms.
Okay. I
And
can make
that's
centerpieces
nuts.
for you if you want.
Oh
up
my
here.
god, there you go. Oh my god, that is...
They're made from upcycled pieces of glass too, so they're not very expensive. They're very they're thrifted pieces of glass, and and I fill it with like just like stuff I get from garage sales or.
What? You are really impressive. Then. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for bringing us a gift.
Yeah.
That is so sweet, and I never expect that, so I really appreciate it.
No problem. Mushrooms have been like a kind of a totem as of late, like in my last 2 years of life.
Why
I think
is
mushrooms
that?
have been a thing. Well, actually, mushroom lamps. Like that was about 2 years ago that I started making them. My partner's mom is a energy healer, spiritual healer. She does like oracle cards and stuff like that. So she was doing one of my readings. That's how she was down, and one of my cards was about like my future.
Yeah.
She laid it down like it was this beautiful picture of like a fairy with like all these like in a field of mushrooms, right? And I was just like, well, that's interesting. And then the kind of the poem that went along with the card, like the little saying was about how mushrooms like never actually die and how they like come back down or they go away and come back up, but more and better, and like that they never die because they stay connected.
Wow.
And,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they did that.
Yeah, they were probably one of the largest organisms, right? Because like, mushrooms stay connected underground, right?
Yeah.
You don't see them; they kind of pop up.
That is so cool, because my sister's husband, so my brother-in-law, he studied mushrooms and did like his master's in it, and he always talked about it, but like I never knew that happened as well. I'm gonna have to talk to him.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
though.
mushrooms. I know, and I don't know very, very much about mushrooms. Like I said, just a couple. I made a nightlight. Yeah, I made a nightlight in the shape of a mushroom for my daughter, just because I put a bowl on top of a vase and it was really cute, and shoved a bunch of moss in there. And my kid was like, "I love it." And it's okay, great.
That's very cute.
Took a picture of it, and everyone was like, "Oh." It was a mushroom thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was a mushroom craze. I had no idea.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so just full circle for you.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yes. Hi.
So, tell me, like, what do you do in Sarnia? Or in Sarnia Lambton, I guess.
What I do right now in Sarnia Lambton is I run a business.
Ooh, entrepreneurship. That's
yes.
fun.
Yeah. I took the big leap last year, terrifying and everything else, but 25 plus years working as an environmental technician for someone else, for another company here in Sarnia, and I also spent about 7 years out in New Brunswick, which was gorgeous and amazing.
Oh my god, I can only imagine.
Yeah. And I moved back here, continued working for other companies, and then, like I said, just last year I decided to break out on my own and just, do environmental consulting on my own and do the specialized work that I do and I have been doing. And
So what's the name of your company?
Jacqueline Marcoux Environmental Consulting.
Wow, that's nice.
So it's just
like
to
that.
shorten it up because Sarnia loves acronyms.
Oh my god.
It's JMAC for short.
Absolutely.
JMAC.
Sarnia loves a good
Yes,
acronym.
right?
I don't understand why we love acronyms so much, but then I also like acronyms.
Yes.
So I'm like, is this because I'm in Sarnia, or is it just because it's a good thing? I don't know, because then when I was in Toronto, they also like acronyms.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a very interesting thing that humans just do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is so cool. So what led you to be a part of environmental consulting? Like what, I know you said you were an environmental technician, is that what you said?
Yeah.
So what led you to that?
Yeah, environmental, gosh, that's been a part of my life. Well, since I was a kid, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I was that kid that was like making mud pies and like just could never be called inside for anything, and to come in for a bath, like what? No, it's annoying. It's just always outside. Putting your plastic bags and your rubber boots and ditch jumping and finding the frogs and finding, just always enamored by wildlife and like the outdoors. And, so my mom was the gardener, my dad was the hunter, so I kind of was the tomboy of the family. My sister was like the more of the girly, she liked more of the refined things. I liked going out hunting with my dad or gardening with my mom or fishing with
Wow.
my dad or stuff like that.
That is so cool. So you had like great influences around you.
Well, yeah.
I definitely relate to the whole tomboy thing. But all my sisters were tomboys, so like we were all just like a bunch of little boys running around. I love that. I love that for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like for environmental stuff, like did you discover like that path in high school, or was that like a later in life kind of thing?
So just me loving being outdoors all the time, and like coming from a family that does too, and like our family vacations were always camping outdoors and stuff like that. So when I was in school, it was high school that I realized I was just really liked the sciences. I was very interested and I'm very curious mind. I just really want to know how it works. I want to see how it works. How does it function? How can we make it better? How can we, it's just like very about everything. So I think that is what kind of led me into just like the sciences. And then I didn't really want to go for OECs. I was done with like grade 11. I was done with high school at that point.
Wow.
I was just kind of, I felt like I was,
I think
not
that's
my grades thing.
Yeah.
With life, I was just like, I wasn't interested in graduation prom. Like I wasn't really interested in all the social parts of what high school was. Like it was just really kind of like my means to be able to like continue on and do what I want to do.
Absolutely.
So I left high school, or I graduated high school, and then went to college. And my first instinct was environmental, sciences here at Lambton College, and that was like, close to home. I could still live with my parents, and that just seemed, reasonable. Like we weren't really well off, but we weren't my family weren't able to get loans, but they weren't able to pay for my college. We're in that middle.
I understand. A lot of my friends were in that position.
So I basically took out like my own personal loans.
Wow.
Like I'm, 19 years old, taking out my own loans and stuff to get myself through school, knowing that I'd have to pay them back and everything. So I took one semester at the Lambton College doing like the chemical, I think it was like environmental sciences or chemical. I can't remember what the name of the course back then was, but it was like, I think this is like 1998.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I can't remember the name of the course was, but certainly my position would be, after I graduated from that, it would be working at the Valley, chemical processing or chemical engineering.
Nice.
And so, my mom and dad were like, oh, great, that's where the money is. My dad was like, oh, you're going to be working in the plants.
That's what my sister does.
Okay.
The process operating.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's cool. Like, I get that. Money's never really been like a motivator for me, though.
Me either.
I was like, okay, I'm glad that you're happy, and everybody. So I took one semester of that, and I talked to my guidance counselor that was at the college. I don't know, I wish I could remember his name. He was like the best person. And
if you're watching, leave a comment.
Yeah. I don't know. I was like, anyways, but I sat down. I said, look, I've done this one semester. I want to know like where I'm going to end up, and he said, well, obviously the program is that you do your co-op and then you work in plants. And I'm like, well, that's your position. And it's be great. And I'm like, I just don't want that. No. Like I know, like everybody's saying that you're saying that's great. My parents saying it's great, and everybody around me, City of Sarnia, everyone's like, well, you can get a job in plants.
It's so part of our culture.
Yes.
It's so ingrained in who we are and what we do and like who we breed sometimes. And I'm just like, why is that an expectation on a 2-year-old that he's gonna go work in the plants? Like, come on,
right.
relax. Even I catch myself doing that. I think I've done it at a couple interviews, even where like a kid's like an engineer, and I'm like, you can work in the plants. Even I catch myself doing it. It's a very interesting culture thing that we got going on here. So I'm glad that you didn't like just go into it just to go into it.
Well, I was like, I don't want to be inside a building, like behind a desk and on a computer. I want to be out in nature. Like, I actually want to be out, like studying nature things, like in the fresh air, like trees, dirt. Like I want to do those things. And he said, you're in the wrong school altogether. And he pulled this pamphlet from behind. It was like he had it loaded or something. He was
like, I knew.
He was just like, here, this is what you need. So he like, Sir Sampson Fleming College was the place that he.
Oh, Fleming,
yeah,
that's nice.
Sir Sampson
I like
Fleming
College.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the Frost campus. So away I went, and like I was like, hey, see you later. Cancel this course. Like,
was it like angels singing like, oh?
Yeah, when I read through the pamphlet, because like every course, it was like, maybe that, maybe some of that, maybe I'll go back and do some of that too. Like it was like, the courses were like fish and wildlife technologies, art, trees and shrubs, and it was just everything environmental, but like earth and planet and natural resources. It was like the School of Natural Resources. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
Sir Sampson Fleming, the School of Natural Resources. So I'm like,
oh, that's perfect then. So then after college, you went straight into the field, or did you take a couple years off?
Yeah,
or?
no, I went straight into trying to get a job in my field.
Absolutely.
Worked 3 jobs at, like, one was at Shoppers Drug Mart, one was at Value Village, like the early morning shift.
Absolutely.
Which is really great because I'm also like a thrifter, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
wasn't
I'm like
complaining.
a little jealous. I would love to work there.
Yeah, working at Value Village was awesome. But yeah, I worked at Value Village, Shoppers Drug Mart, and anyways, worked a bunch of different jobs here and there, but always applying. I don't know if it was just like happened to be the year, it was just like really bad for me or whatever, the year that I graduated, like as far as employment, but I felt like I was kind of stuck in this, like to get a job in my field.
Yeah.
A lot of those positions were being offered to people to get them off unemployment, which I completely understood. That's a very awesome system for the city. That's great, or for our community. That's great. But I was sort of, I was ambitious, and I also took out loans to go to school. So like, I can't leave school and just go and like live and not make money. I have to get a job to make money, to pay off loans, to pay for me to live at my parents, pay for food, you know, stuff like that.
Absolutely. So, I get it.
So I'm just, it really sucked because I was in a lot of times, I was in offices of people going like, I feel like I need to quit my jobs to go on unemployment so that I can get this job.
I understand.
And it was just like, you know, I'm not trying to downplay the system, which is great and it works great, it's effective, but like for me right now, in this year of my life, I'm just having a really hard time.
That's really relatable though, because I feel like a lot of people, and I loved the sentence when you said, I got stuck with trying to get a job in my field, because I feel like a lot of us, like, we're almost promised this like amazing vision in college and university that we are gonna like step out of these doors and get a job right away, and it's gonna be fantastic because if you're a hard worker then you're gonna be fine. But like you said, there are systems in place that sometimes don't benefit you in those situations, and you get stuck, and then you get really upset with yourself because you're not where you're supposed to be or meant to be, and that's hard.
Yeah.
Especially as a young person.
Yeah, I did not. Yeah, many times. I remember I went to the Employment Action Center in the Bayside Mall, and I remember
I remember that.
Okay. Yeah. And I went and I said I was trying to apply for a job as an environmental technician, field technician. It was to do like a stream study, and I did those in my course. So it was like I had like a stream study and everything. And the only thing is that I'm working right now. But like, is there anything? Like I was like, you know, and I walked out of there just going and applying at a call center because it was a job with a higher pay, but it still wasn't in my field. That was so defeated. And I took that job and I went and I got the job at the call center because it was a higher pay. But man, I cried every day on the way to that work.
How did you overcome that? Because that's something I feel like a lot of young people right now are going through, and not even young people, like any age people are going through this idea of having a certain job, having a certain lifestyle, having a certain thing, and when it doesn't pan out, that defeat really kicks in. How did you overcome that?
Don't let it. don't let it.
That's like simple.
Don't let it get you down. No, I mean
absolutely.
don't unpack there. You know, get down. I get it. You know.
But that was a beautiful sentence.
Yeah, don't unpack. Don't unpack. You gotta like just keep going. And that is honestly how I got through it. Is that I kept going. Like I just kept bugging and kept bugging.
Yeah.
And I ended up taking a part-time job, and then it got me into Department of Fisheries and Oceans, actually. It got me a really good position at Department of Fisheries and Oceans.
That is so cool.
And it was I let go of like 3 of my full-time jobs that weren't in my field, right? It was like the Value Village and everything like that, because it was just a 6-month contract. But it was like, I have to, like, this is it, because this is what's going to get on my resume.
And that's what's going to propel you forward in the future. So for folks who are like in a similar position as you were in that time, and that want to unpack, what would you say to those people that are wanting to unpack in their lows? Like, what would you say for them just to... Like,
I get it, but don't. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to be like, well, like, don't do it. Yeah, you can do it, you know, but... Gosh, as cheesy as this is, honestly, self-affirmations are a really amazing thing. And like, as weird and as strange and as odd and uncomfortable as it's gonna make you feel, but honestly looking in the mirror and like telling yourself really nice things about yourself, like every day when you wake up in the morning, like.
Well, because self-love is so crucial to success.
Yes.
You have to, like RuPaul, it's becoming a cheesy line, but like you can't love someone else without loving yourself first, you know? And, and it's so important, especially I feel like with financial success, with like personal success, with community success. It's so important to like love yourself first.
It is.
Because if you don't, then how the hell are you gonna love somebody else?
Right. Yeah.
That's so cool that like you learned that and you were able to like integrate that into your life and use those affirmations to pull you out of that. Because I feel like there's always that like shitty time period before like everything gets good.
Oh my
and then
gosh,
you go right back into the shitty time period and then everything gets good. It's like this ebb and flow constantly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's really super important for you to really push through those like hard times. But when it's like the time where it's not and it's just like nothing is happening, take it. Just breathe and like take it.
Absolutely. Just like rest in
and
that.
be okay with it. Like, it's okay. Things are slowing down. That's okay.
Exactly. And enjoy being present.
Yeah.
And feel like you can actually enjoy the moment, because being able to be present and in the moment is actually a huge privilege. And I think a lot of people don't really want to talk about that, and all these social media posts are always like, just be present, be in the moment. It's like, okay, but if I have trauma, if I have domestic violence situations going on, if I have, you know, poverty happening in my household, if I have, you know, siblings who need a caretaker and I have to be that, or a grandparent that needs a caretaker, you can't do that. And this society is not sustainable for that. No. And so I feel like being able to be in the moment and be present and at peace is such a privilege, and we should all take it when it comes to us.
Yes.
And hold on to it as long as we can until it's gone, because it's going to go away at some point.
Well, you know it, right? Like and you want it to, though. You want it to do that.
You want something that's going to push you to grow.
Yeah.
And those are the hard times.
Because you feel really uncomfortable first before you grow, right? So that really gross, uncomfortable feeling, like, understand that that's supposed to be happening, because you're about to blossom. You're about to blossom. You're about to break through your other skin, you know, like the lobster, right? Yeah.
Is that how you felt when you were starting this business? Like your new business, your baby almost?
Yeah, starting this business. Oh my gosh, terrified. I was so terrified.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, a really good friend of mine who was an entrepreneur, is an entrepreneur as well, from my time in New Brunswick. It was a lot of long phone calls on the phone with her, and we'd video chat and stuff, and like real talks, and she'd just like, you know, she's like, this is it, this is what you're meant to do, like this is it, Jack, you gotta keep going, you gotta, like it's gonna be okay, you know, like just take it, like, you jump in. And then of course, like supportive, like family, like everybody was just like, okay, Jackie, you go. My parents were a little skeptical. It's funny. They were a little bit. They were like, what? You're just you're not gonna just get a job and have somebody pay you to do the thing, and then you just live life that way. Like that's the way it goes, right? Like, you're just gonna do this big scary thing. Like, are you sure? You know. So.
I think a lot of folks, like in older generations, are very scared of entrepreneurship. I think it's very it's like a very scary, terrifying thing to not have the guarantee of income coming in, which is very fair, given what this world has been through for the past few decades. It's understandable. But at the same time, for you to go against that, it also sounds like you have a huge support system. Oh yeah. So how important has it been, a support system in your life? Yeah,
really important. The number one thing is making sure myself, like you said, taking care of yourself. There's that real thing about, you know, putting your mask on before you put someone else's mask on. You know, it's kind of in life. It's sort of like that.
It's absolutely like that. It's honestly so crucial to make sure that you are operating on a level that you feel healthy. Yeah. You know, being healthy is honestly the biggest part of wellness, and I feel like a lot of folks often put that on the back burner because they always keep saying one day. No, today, help yourself.
Do it. But yeah, I also have an amazing partner. Yeah, that's just there through it all that I can communicate with, and communication is like key. And being able to tell, talk to each other. I'm able to come to him and say, you know, I'm not at 100% today. I'm at 30. I can bring 30.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I'm gonna need you to bring the rest. To bring us to 100, because like as a couple we're 100. That's how I feel.
Oh, I love that mentality though, because a lot of folks want to say it's 50-50, and I'm like, If you want to go on this whole level of that your relationship's going to be 50-50 the whole time, you are lying to yourself and you're not being realistic. Because there are some days I can only give 10%, which means Nick has to give 90. There's some days he can only give 30, I have to give 70. And you are there to lift each other up, not to put each other down.
No, exactly.
And so I love that mentality, and I'm so happy you and your partner have that.
Yeah.
Are you guys married?
No, we're common law.
Common law. I was gonna, that's marriage to me. I think that's, it's just without the certificate, which is not really necessary anyways. Like, I know I'm getting married, but at the same time, I don't think marriage is necessary. I don't think it is at all.
Yeah.
But how long have you guys been together?
5.5. He's gonna kill me. 5.5 years now.
Okay.
2019. Yeah.
Oh wow. So it's like not relatively new. That's still a very long relationship. But how did you guys meet?
Plenty of fish.
Oh my God, that is so cute. I haven't heard about Plenty of Fish in a while, but a lot of my friends have had a lot of success on it.
It was terrible. I don't recommend it to anybody. Like, even though I'm like about to tell you my success story. No, it was a terrible experience actually, but I took a lot of a comic relief out of it actually, because a lot of times I'd sit with my friends, like, chit-chatting about, little trading stories a little bit of like dates that we've been on and stuff like that, and it's really fun. I actually thought about, I'm like, I should put together a show about have people come and like talk about their Plenty of Fish, like, experiences, like anonymously obviously, but like not to bash anybody, but like I think it'd be really cool to just out there and because
that would be so good.
Telling my friends the experiences I have compared to hearing what it's different. Like it's just I don't know. I attract weird and different people.
Honestly, yeah, and like dating apps and dating websites also like definitely lend to that. But I'm so happy that you met your partner and like you're thriving with him, and like that's incredible. Like, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you were like working hard, and then now you're starting a business. Well, you started a business and you're succeeding really well, I've heard.
Oh yeah.
And so like that's just so impressive. Like, you're very impressive. And I'm very happy that you came on the show. I'm very, very happy because I learned and I know that we were nominated in the same category as the Obas for Young Professional.
Yes.
And like that's how I knew your name, and like to get to know you a little bit better, like I understand why you were nominated, because you definitely deserve to be in that category.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I was like proud to be in the same category as you too. So I was like, oh yeah, I know. And then when they announced your name as the winner, I'm like, oh, okay, perfect, because like I don't know, I just felt good about losing to you. I don't know if that's, anyways.
That's very flattering, so thank you. It feels strange, but like, so for you, like owning your business and like, working for yourself, is that a huge shift? Like, are you enjoying working for yourself now that you've come from a really big background of working for others?
Yeah. So like, I don't, not to put it out there all like, oh, I quit my corporate job and got myself in my own business. Look at me, I took control. No, honestly, like devastating. Like the company I worked for a lot of years, like just closed up, bankruptcy. So like literally pulled me out from a middle of a job and said, no more. You just don't work anymore, and this company is no longer exists. Wow. So a lot of my clients that I had working that company were just at a loss for that service. So, and then I got picked up by another company right away, because the word traveled, and like, in a couple of days of scrambling, going like, what am I going to do with my life, and like, how am I going to keep doing this awesome work that I love doing, and like, and I got picked up by another company. Oh, we heard that such and such company folded, like, and we're here to pick up, what's going on with you? I said, well, I've got this, and these people need this, Oh, well, great, you come on board, So I'm like, oh, I became a project manager, and I bring all my, I kind of opened up sort of service lines while I was in that, like under that company, kind of, and bringing my clients that needed those services to be done and everything. I specialize in zebra mussel monitoring.
Zebra mussel monitoring, that is so cool.
Yeah, so
I find zebra mussels fascinating.
Okay,
I think they're fascinating.
Yeah, it's neat that they've gone from saltwater to fresh. Yeah. But they are like ruthless. They're devastating, and they are a problem, right? Yeah. So but
they also hurt when you step on them.
Yeah, and they hurt for a long time because they're dirty, but they're gross.
But that's why I find them so fascinating, is that they're just such nuisances. And like, how, like, so you specialize in that? Like, how did you get into specializing?
Well, that was like one of my jobs. Like very early on, I worked doing zebra mussel treatments and stuff like that. So I learned all about them then in that job, and then my another job from that, because that was seasonal, and then I got a full-time job, assessing samples that were just full of zebra mussels, because I knew what a zebra mussel was. They're like, oh, we'll hire you for this project, and it was, processing a bunch of samples that had zebra mussels and stuff in it and everything like that. But so just been working in it a lot. But yeah, it was, I kind of brought all those clients that, work, and then it was just 1 year, and it was a big corporation, so I just kind of, I think I became like a number. I'm not really sure what happened, but
I understand. Yeah.
all of a sudden, like, they're like, no, we're just not going to go this way. And they're like, we're going to cut that completely. Like, we just cut you. Like, see you later. And so it was another kind of devastating blow of like,
oh yeah,
like,
and then you're in defeat. You're in defeat mode.
And I still have my clients, and you guys didn't train anybody else to do this stuff. It was me and my projects, right? So it was sort of and I had a client contact me saying, hey, we just found out from, such and such company that, they're not putting in for the proposal. Like, who are we going to get to do this work? And I was like, who are you going to get to do this work, And I'm like, you just give me 24 hours. And I remember calling the labor board and saying, listen, this is my situation. I've got a non-compete order, though. Like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
Like, but I still feel like I need to work. I've got clients contacting me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I guess the non-compete is null and void in Ontario. Like the lady on the Ministry of Labor board that I called, she on the phone was like, she pretty much it was just like, you go service your clients. Like, you're not held back by that, is what she was saying to me. And I was just like, oh, okay.
I love labor board. They're always so helpful.
Yeah, really. And she literally got me to read word for word over the phone. And she was like, nope.
Wow.
So I was like,
good for her.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I wish I could remember her name, but thank you, lady.
That's so cool.
But yeah, she was really helpful in that. And so then I literally called my client back and said, you know what? You send those proposals here because I am my company. And I literally, like, off that conversation, turned around, like, and registered my company.
Wow.
It's a company number, and I'm like, I guess
So
I'm a company now.
You just took action.
Yeah.
So have you always been an action taker?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, I love that. It sounds like it. From what I'm hearing of like your journey in this business and getting to where you are today, it just feels like you are an action taker, but then I also feel like you're a risk taker.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know
really
why.
cool.
Like, 'cause it's like terrifying. I'm like, oh.
It is terrifying.
So
It
risky,
absolutely is.
yeah.
So what exactly do you do day to day then as an environmental consultant?
Gosh, yeah, right now, so day to day it's different, but because right now I have my Zebra Muscle clients, so I do, like I set up little bio boxes and I do, projects like that, I guess, and business development, I guess.
Nice.
I do a little bit of accounting and project managing and like all the administration and
You're like a little magician. You can do it all.
yeah, I got to do like little video clips and get promotion, get my thing out there, and
That is so cool. So, how can people contact you if they would like some consulting?
Yeah, go onto my website www.jmac.pro.
And then just perfect.
And it's like right there. Email me. It gets like a little form you fill out to contact me. Yeah,
that is so cool. What do you do outside of work, though? I feel like we've been talking so much about your career and professional life. Is there anything that you do outside of work?
So my creative outlet is my mushroom lamps.
Oh, and they're sick. I am like so excited about that. Sam and I are gonna have to timeshare it, and I'll probably hog it. I get full custody.
I'll have to get Sam one for herself.
Oh, she can buy one.
So that is my creative, ultimate creative outlet right there. Is to just go down to my partner put together a little spot in the basement for me, and
awesome.
It's got like all the shelves with all my pieces and everything is right there at my fingertips, and
wow.
I do that. I love doing that. I play drums and percussion. I play hand drums. Yeah,
that's so
I have.
cool.
Oh my gosh, that's the very first thing I've done, and I think like on my own. I was 16 years old. I was playing hand drums. I was sneaking into bars to play hand drums. Oh gosh, I played open mic with Rick Steve. Gosh, every Sunday night. Yeah.
You were like one of the coolest person I've ever met in my life. Like what?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I used to play with Mike Blackmore band. I remember we had a gig out in Finnegan's in Grand Bend for this was before college, but
You've lived a life.
Yeah, I did.
I love that. You should be so proud of that.
I am.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Playing drums and so you're very artistic.
Creative, yes, yeah.
So
I would say so.
cool.
I have a mad rhythm. I don't know
Mad
what it is.
rhythm.
I'm just really
Yes,
good.
I love
I
that.
have good timing and good
I
rhythm.
feel like you need to be a really good creative mind to be an entrepreneur as well. Like I know a lot of entrepreneurs in my life, and the creative genius that just flows from them.
Yeah.
Like I hope one day I can do that too, but it's just, I feel like you have to be creative to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. You have to be able to wear several hats too. Like you have to be able to do those things that maybe you're not so fond of, like, you got to do those. But it's kind of neat when you're doing them. It's like, I know I don't really like doing this, but like, I'm doing it, and then once you've done it, it's, you celebrate, right? So that's
absolutely.
like, I think like the key for me as far as being an entrepreneur and working on my own owner operator. I don't have any employees, so I'm doing everything myself. On my own. I have a business coach. I hired a business coach. I was like the first thing.
Nice. That's important. Like
very important. And he's amazing. And everything business, because I don't know business. Like, I've always been boots on ground in the field, digging in the dirt, fishing up the fish. Like this is what I'm doing. So kind of making sure that you you're grateful to yourself as well. Like and like I celebrate. Self high fives is what I give myself all the time.
Oh, I love that.
Like when I'm anxious about an email that I've got to send. Like as soon as I send it, I'm like yes, and like celebrate that.
Good.
That was a success. Like don't get down on yourself that you were so anxious about sending it. Celebrate the fact that you did it.
You're speaking to my soul, honestly. Like, because when I first started, like, this is my first big girl job working at Rebound and all that stuff. When I first started it was like my hands would tremble at the keyboard, and now I kind of do that. I'm like, okay. You're doing things. You got something crossed off your list. Celebrate it. Be in the moment. Have your little candy when you want it. And then move on. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Treat yourself. I love that. Okay, so this is the last question of our interview.
Okay.
So if you had any advice for anybody watching or listening, what would be the greatest advice you could give?
Oh my gosh. Greatest advice like in life, eh?
Yeah, just in general. It could also be something funny. It doesn't matter. Wherever your mind takes it.
You are in power, I guess. I just always remember that. Just like you are in control and you are in power. Set your boundaries, stick to them. And then manifest your goals and also stick to it, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Stick to it.
Just be kind to yourself. I don't know. Be kind to yourself and recognize it, Imposter syndrome. I don't know if anybody suffers from imposter syndrome. That's a huge thing.
Me all day, every day.
Okay. Imposter syndrome. Be kind to yourself. The reason why you're suffering imposter syndrome is because you're actually doing something. So you've got to recognize that. Like,
you got to recognize the role you play in that.
Right? Like you're like, I'm worried about this thing that I'm doing because I'm doing this thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I have to stop. Thank you. That was actually really insightful, so I really appreciate that. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, love it. Okay, well, have a good one, everybody. Thank you so much.